Anyway, oh, we got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle as we go on down to Texas, Dallas, Texas, where everything's bigger in Texas, and so was the crowd at the American Airlines Center there, or arena, or whatever. Would they have 15,000 some? The stage blocked off some seats, but they were sold out. They turned them away, told some people they couldn't come in. And that's a bigger building than the one that they were running down there in Duluth, Georgia. But have we heard, has Memphis sold out yet? His feelings are gonna be hurt if Memphis doesn't sell out. Are there still tickets available?
For Memphis, I would have to check. I would have to check. Hold on.
Well, see if you know anything about that while I talk about this, because I don't want people to hurt The Rock's feelings. He's come all the way down from Mount Olympus to grace us with his presence again. The least his former hometown can do when he was living on downtown Bruno's toilet seat is eating fried eggs, is to come out and sell out the building. But anyway, Smackdown again on March the 8th was, there were some interesting speeches given, and then they filled it in with some of the pesky wrestling, but these guys are over. Everything is over. They opened the show with Logan Paul, and you know, he's out there, he's dressed up, he's looking good, he's a fucking smart ass, he's a prick, he's got the US title belt. He's doing the heel promo. He's brushing off the whats. He's bragging about himself. He's the reason for the WWE's success. Premium live events setting records. Arenas selling out. I'm the secret sauce, baby. And how is this guy smarter to the wrestling business than all the indie wrestlers that have been plying their trade since they were 14 years old in a rec center somewhere?
It's that he has the skill, he has the attributes that a lot of wrestlers back in the day had. He's a bullshitter. And he can go out there and talk and do his thing. Too many of these guys have no personality and no rap. They can't go into a room and sell anyone on themselves. They hide in the corner and wait for their turn.
How do they get laid? They got, what this, please, ma'am, may I have some more?
Please.
Well, anyway, Logan announced that the WWE is in its prime, and they gave him a drum roll, and they pulled back the covering, and the Prime energy drink that he sells, the logo is on the mat. The mat is no longer sacred from sponsorships as the Vince McMahon mandate has come to an end. Vince never wanted to dirty up the ring, clutter up the ring, and now they're going to sell. They're probably going to sell fucking brand space on guys' asses. But
on one hand, I hate it. I hate doing that to the mat, especially one that, for its entire history, has not had that. Or, you know, briefly at other points had like a logo or something. But
right.
On the other hand, they're going to make so much money. They're going to make so much money. Selling each corner, each turnbuckle, everything.
Because the thing is, they can also factor into that if they're smart, and I believe the jury isn't still out on whether they got smart salespeople up there. That's going to live forever. On the network, on YouTube, on the replays, wherever that is streamed, the big matches. I'm not talking about, you know, the second match on Raw or whatever, but for big premium live events and the big shows and blah, that stuff's going to live forever. They're going to see, they're going to be seeing your product in 20 years.
And you could double up. You could sell WWE and UFC together as a package.
Yes. And their package is bigger than most people's packages. But anyway, as soon as he does that, then Logan welcomes to the Prime Ring KSI, who apparently is one of Logan Paul's stooges that does his other things with him, right? We've heard this guy's name or seen him, I think, at one point, wasn't he one of the Nuck Passers or something? I remember this guy's name because it's all initials.
He's another Logan Paulish character in the interweb. He, I think, has also done some boxing stuff with them. And I believe he's also another guy that, like, CoffeeZilla's after.
Well, and boy, you better watch out if CoffeeZilla's after you. And so he gets in the ring and they pose for a picture, and then Orton's music starts playing. And as they're watching for him in the entranceway, Orton comes in, I think, from under the ring, but from behind, and tries to get Logan Paul with the RKO, but Logan scampers out and he hits one on old KSI and laid him out on the logo, and then cracked open a Prime Energy drink and had a sip and poured the rest of it on KSI. So there we had that. But again, Logan Paul, a natural. I don't know who KSI is, but he was fodder here for Orton's RKO.
He took the RKO really well, I thought.
Apparently, Logan Paul just hangs out with a bunch of fucking physical freaks that can do all this shit. I don't know.
Should they hire him to be a scout while he's wrestling? Anyone he meets, get them in the ring and have them do something.
Maybe it's the energy drink. What the fuck do you think? Has that got cordyceps in it?
If he's going to have that energy drink on the mat for pay-per-view events, do you think Ric Flair's energy drink calls up Tony to renegotiate?
Oh, God. No, I think Ric Flair ought to call up whoever drew the logo for his energy drink. What the fuck? This looks like a goddamn souvenir at Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. And these guys are over here on fucking national television with this. Anyway, so then immediately we went into Randy Orton and Kevin Owens versus Grayson Waller and Austin Theory after Orton had done this business. And, it's nothing wrong with the match. They're not crazy like the other channel. It's just not that important. I'm getting a little weary of seeing Theory do the job all the time and Waller emerges unscathed. But about 7 or 8 minutes of this made the air, and then Owens boosted Theory into an RKO from Orton, and he pinned him 1, 2, 3. And so thank you for coming, Theory. And then Logan Paul appears from behind. I don't know where he came from. And he leveled Randy and Kevin both and got his knucks out and swung them, but Orton blocked it and grabbed the knuckles, and Logan Paul bailed out and ran off. So obviously there's some ill will here. Randy Orton versus Logan Paul wouldn't be fucking bad at all.
No, and Logan Paul is just great. Everything he does, I enjoy. Jim, to answer your question from earlier, as of 4 days ago, WrestleTix was reporting that Smackdown Friday, March 15th at the FedEx Forum in Memphis, tickets distributed, 9,975. There are 1,470 available tickets as of 4 days ago.
And that's not until this coming Friday.
9 days until the show as of this posting from WrestleTix. Also, last time WWE was there for Raw in August, 7,377.
So they're already way over that.
Way over that.
Well, there you Mempho.
And The Rock. And The Rock. They're going to sell out.
And The Rock. But, and I just to make the mention of Orton and Paul one more time, I think that's a great idea because now, Logan Paul, he's been in a ring with Ricochet just so they could have their spot match. And he's done stuff with Owens, but now with Orton, he'll probably get a more focused lesson in timing and or selling or when to kick it up or when to turn it down or whatever, because Orton can give him a little polish like that in the ring while they're doing their shit. So he's just getting better and better, Logan Paul. But what didn't get better and better was this show. But we had some stuff with the girls, and then Bobby Lashley versus Karrion Kross. Oh boy. This was one time I was not insulted that they went 2 minutes and went to a break. But at the end of this thing, and it was about as ugly as you'd imagine. But the AOP run in for the disqualification when Lashley's about to win and glom him. And then the Street Profits run out and they have a sloppy fight. And then B-Fab comes in. Remember the girl that was with Flop Dollar and his gang of
course. I could never forget B-Fab.
Yes. Well, she came in and ran Scarlett off.
That was the best part of the whole thing.
Well, and that ain't saying much because then the heels came back and got heat on the babyface. It looked like an AEW segment where it was sloppy for one side and then sloppy for the other side. Girls got in the fight in the middle and then fought off. And Lashley is mired down in the middle of this. If he has quality talent to oppose him and or flunkies around him and or smaller guys to bounce off of him, he's a big star. But in this, he's one guy in the middle of a bunch of generic indie greenhorns. And it just, oh God, anybody that touches Karrion Kross withers on the vine, don't they?
I went to the kitchen. I saw the BFAB spot. I was back in time for that, but it seemed like every time I turned around, it was just AOP hitting him. And then, yeah, I don't know anyone who's enthused about any of this. This is really the only thing WWE has in a mid-card that doesn't really have anyone caring about it right now.
Well, hopefully they'll give up soon so we can go back to some element of normalcy. But the 9 o'clock hour was the evil Lucha guys in the back pushing Rey Mysterio around. Did they just run long, or did they say, fuck it, we don't care, we're advertising The Rock later on face-to-face with The Rock and Roman face-to-face with Cody and Seth, so we don't care what we do to Lynn?
I think it's one of their big priorities on this show, the big segment that I think in their eyes is the one to try to attract the Latino audience. And if you know you're going to have The Rock and that whole segment at the end of the show, do you use the 9 o'clock hour to try to get some of these guys in a better position?
Okay, but what I'm saying to you is right at the top of the 9 o'clock hour is not the place to be backstage in the bowels of the building instead of out in the lit up arena where you can see people and shit. Because it's all this backstage stuff is all the same. People zone out on it because it happens constantly. So if the 9 o'clock hour should be whoever you're wanting to push. I'm not complaining about Rey Mysterio being at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. I'm complaining about it being a lame fucking backstage blah blah. And then we get Tiffany versus Mia Yim. So that I don't think that was a wonderful use of the top of the 9 o'clock hour on the WWE's part. But again, Rock and Roman are coming up. They can show Mighty Mouse reruns. But Mighty Mouse reruns might be better, Brian, than the AJ Styles promo. Did they write that out for him and tell him to read it off a teleprompter? Because AJ has never been, fucking Mick Foley or Punk or whatever, Heyman when it comes to promos, but he was sitting there. He's talking about LA Knight, but it was like he was reading the words, pronouncing everything perfectly, not a lot of natural inflection. He's one of the pod people.
You mean a flat earther?
Well, I don't know. Yes, that's right. I am still your husband. Nothing has changed.
AJ's kind of lost in the shuffle right now, and it's kind of dragged LA Knight down a little.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, because LA Knight's contribution to this show was after he heard AJ Styles' promo. He's in the other back of the arena, beating up a monitor with a chair, but he can't break the fucking monitor. Those monitors now, it's not glass. The screens don't break. They just bend. He's hitting the monitor with the chair. Nothing's happening to the monitor. It's flat. It's only an inch thick. It's like a credit card. Used to, you could take a goddamn blunt instrument to a TV and make a mess. This didn't work, did it?
Nope.
Anyway, we talking about the match now or the review I just did?
Both.
Dragon Lee got beat up by one of the heel Lucha guys and all of the other Lucha guys. That happened. They had more girls talking. There was that going on. And then we get to what we came to see. At 9:30, Nick Aldis goes to the locker room of Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, and the extra security has been placed outside all the locker rooms all night so that nobody's going to get in a fight until it's time to get in a fight. And Aldis knocks on the door, nothing, knocks, and then he looks, where are they? And the security guards standing outside the locker room are clueless. Well, aren't they in there? And it's all the indie guys, right? I understand them wanting to create a little mystery going into the break before the entrances for the promo. But how do they? Either there's a back door, in which case, why didn't they have people stationed there also? Or are we expected to believe that they just teleported themselves because these dozen people stand in front of the door can't find them? Is that the best cliffhanger we could come up with for this goddamn giant promo segment that 3 million people are going to watch?
Yes.
Again, am I being too fucking...
They're escape artists. What do you want me to tell you? Rollins is dressed like one. Maybe he's an escape artist.
He was dressed like he was wearing an inflatable pup tent.
He's wearing all black. Like he's trying to escape.
But it was inflated. It looked like somebody put a rubber air hose up the rear end of it and blown him up like a Macy's float. Anyway, so they come back from the break with the Bloodline entrance and then the Rock entrance separately. And he's got the lightning and the new effects on the screen. And the place is lit up for these guys because now here's the stars. And even though The Rock's got wrestling heat, they still know here's a goddamn movie star. And have you noticed he always, when they're in the ring, he stands alone and to the left of the rest of the group? To the point now, it's always that way to where I'm pretty sure when the inevitable happens, they're going to fucking go back to that. And they might even show a little clip and say he was never part of us. Whatever.
Or he steals the group from Roman.
Or he steals the group from Roman and they gravitate over to the other side. Maybe they'll do it slowly. Maybe next week, fucking Solo will kind of start edging over a little bit. And then within the next month, Roman will look around and they're all on that side. But anyway, they shake and hug hands. They hug and shake hands, do Roman and Rock, and Roman Reigns says, acknowledge us. And that's all that the entrance and that. And then, boom, Cody music hits. And here comes Cody and Seth, but they're coming in from the stands, from up in the cheap seats, coming down the stairs. They've done an end. I don't know. They still ended up in the ring and nobody attacked anybody at that point. So I'm not sure why they felt they needed the element of surprise, but it was a cliffhanger for a commercial break.
See, I thought as it was happening, I'm like, okay, The Rock calls himself the people's champion. Here's Cody showing we're the actual guys of the people, but they didn't really address that at all.
Well, didn't the Shield used to come in from the stands? That's why Moxley still clings to his past glory when he was somebody in a real company, right?
Right.
So maybe they were doing that because of Seth. That's his deal. I'm grasping at straws here.
This is a great review so far.
Well, so far, they hadn't done nothing, but they got to it. So we came back, and now we're down to nut-cutting time. Cody and Seth are in the ring. Rock and Roman are in the ring. The other stooges got out on the floor. You see Aldis and some of the security out there, but we got the 4 guys involved. And now they've got the face-off, and they let the people rumble. And then Cody said, Rock, I've heard your challenge. Do you have the authority to make that stipulation? You said Roman last week was your tribal chief. And he's trying to needle him a little bit. And so Cody is about to give the answer to the challenge, and Rock shuts him up, and he cuts the promo. And the fans start chanting diarrhea at some point. And Rock reiterates the challenge perfectly with all the stipulations. You needed that to be resaid so everybody understands it, because, again, that's a difference in the AEW talking segments and the WWE talking segments. The AEW talking segments talk endlessly about everything with people coming out until you can't keep track of where you started. And the WWE talking segments have a couple of different points that they hammer home until they're clear with everybody. And then Rock starts to ask if they accept, and Seth cuts in on Mr. Midlife Crisis. You know, you've had your time, you can't have ours. We accept. So Seth gets to accept. And that's fine. And then Roman jumps in on Cody. You going to let him answer for you? You going to let this cross-dresser make your future decisions? He's fucking hilarious. And fucking Cody standing like, ah. And basically, when The Rock says, when Roman Reigns, or when their team wins, and then Roman Reigns wins, Cody's not going to get another title shot. And Rock says, I'm going to do everything to keep the title away from you. You will never finish your story. I'm on a board of directors. I'm your boss. You're never going to get another shot. And that's again, that's why I said at the top of the show, even though the Buckaroos have really been EVPs of the indie company for the last 5 years, and they had this in their mind to come back and play off of real life incidents by being portrayed as the real life EVP douchebags they are. Now that millions of people are seeing this, The Rock just joined the board in January, and this is their angle. They've made it theirs, and they're doing it right. Seriously, and with heavy-hitting people that are on major television programs and reported on in major fucking news outlets. And Rock's going to the Oscars. And the Buckaroos are going to the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards. And so the WWE has made this angle theirs as to whether this guy that's involved in administration is going to be able to use his pull to fuck these other people. But whereas the EVPs, as you mentioned earlier in this show, Brian, have no counterpart from the company that's trying to do right and trying to enforce the rules or keep this guy from being a megalomaniac, or these guys. The WWE has Triple H, the chief content officer, who says all the decisions are made by me regardless of what anybody says. So they've covered their bases. This is working, and they're showing AEW how to do it right. And then finally, and I'll let you make your comments, but The Rock tells Cody that he's the youngest of the three kids. And without mentioning Dustin's name, but Rock says, your sister was a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, and your brother is on his way to the Hall of Fame, and you're 20 years younger than them because you were a mistake. And then Cody thinks and looks and starts to say something and hauls off, and they've already got the copyright notice up. And he slaps The Rock, and whah, boom, and Rock's like, oh, and that's where we go off the air. I want to see some more.
Was Tony Khan timing it, or did they want this to happen like that?
No, they wanted it to happen. You can tell they wanted it to happen like that, I believe, because now we don't know what's going to go on after that, or what went on after that, what might go on next week. I mean, I don't know whether they wanted it exactly that tight as about 10 seconds, but you could tell that was the point they wanted to end on. And, so now people are going, oh, shit. Because Chris Rock never slapped Will Smith back, did he?
No comeback.
Well, now he has. So now where are they?
See, I guess the weird thing for that, the only thing I don't like, and I love this, I thought this whole segment was great. The Rock's been great since he embraced what he should be. But when you go off the air like that, like the first slap, it happened, and then people separated them, got Cody and Rollins out of there, and The Rock and Roman were on the stage alone, remember? We have no idea what happened after they went off the air. You would think there'd be a brawl or something. So I don't know. That's the only thing I don't like, going off the air just like that, when there's no logical reason that they're not going to just fight right away.
Well, they might have fight. As a matter of fact, if they did fight, they should show it next week. And if they weren't smart enough to figure out they should have a little something to show next week, they ought to do it next time. Because that would also, you want people to wonder what's going to, oh shit, holy Christ, what's going to happen? And you want to leave it up like that. But if they don't refer to what happened next week, at least refer to it, or better yet, have a clip to show, I will agree with you that it's a letdown when you've tuned in to find out, did they fucking fight? So maybe they fought, and we'll see it next week.
Well, that was SmackDown. It certainly makes you want to see what's coming next.
It certainly was, and it certainly did. But there ain't much to it, but you remember everything you need to. So now for WrestleMania, we got the tag match night 1. We got the title match night 2. We've already got, a few other things going on that are interesting and that we will probably want to see. I'm enjoying how this is coming together.